Welcome to Tech Blueprint, a window that lets you know the latest technology news in the world. In recent years, Apple has continuously adjusted its production layout to diversify supply chain risks and seek new market opportunities. In particular, Apple has set its sights on India, hoping to expand iPhone production capacity in this country with a large population and growing consumer market. For Apple, the Indian market is like a rich cake, attracting its in-depth development. However, the distance between ideal and reality is huge. India's iPhone factories have frequently encountered difficulties, casting a shadow on Apple's capacity migration plan. Previously, the low yield rate and quality problems of the factory production have aroused doubts from the outside world. Recently, an iPhone component factory of the Tata Group in India announced an indefinite suspension of production due to a fire, which has pushed Apple's challenge to a climax. In this context, does it mean that Apple's capacity migration plan has failed? Let's explore it in depth. 1. Why did Apple choose to expand its production capacity in India? There are two major significant opportunities behind Apple's choice of India. First, the Indian market has huge potential. This country, with a population of more than 1.4 billion, has become one of the fastest-growing smartphone markets in the world with the rise of the middle class and the love of young people for technology products. Apple hopes to further increase its market share by moving its production lines to India to get closer to this huge consumer group. Secondly, India's relatively low labor costs can bring significant production cost advantages to Apple. Compared with other regions, India's labor costs are lower, which meets Apple's strategic needs to reduce costs and improve product competitiveness. In addition, the Indian government has actively introduced a number of preferential policies to attract foreign companies to invest and build factories locally, which undoubtedly creates a good business environment for Apple. 2. Opportunities and challenges coexist. However, opportunities are often accompanied by challenges. India's infrastructure construction is relatively weak, and problems such as unstable power supply and traffic congestion have seriously restricted the production efficiency of factories. For example, the iPhone foundry of the Tata Group has been suspended indefinitely due to a fire, which reflects India's shortcomings in fire protection facilities and emergency management. In addition, the shortage of skilled workers is also a thorny issue. Although India has a large population, workers with professional skills are relatively scarce. Apple has extremely high requirements for product quality and needs skilled technical workers to ensure smooth production. However, it is not easy to find enough skilled workers in India. To complicate matters, India's supply chain is immature, which affects the overall efficiency of production. Apple needs a complete and efficient supply chain system, but the current Indian supply chain is insufficient in the timely supply of raw materials and the stability of component quality. This not only affects the production schedule, but may even reduce product quality and fail to meet Apple's high standards. Cultural differences are also a significant challenge. Different countries have different cultural backgrounds and work habits, and Apple's factories in India need time to adapt. For example, the work efficiency and attitude of Indian employees may conflict with Apple's corporate culture. In addition, India's policy environment is relatively turbulent, and the frequent changes in government policies have brought considerable challenges to companies. For example, sudden changes in tariffs and tax policies may have a negative impact on Apple's capacity migration plan. The combination of the above challenges has caused Apple to frequently encounter obstacles in the process of producing iPhones in India. Due to the shortage of skilled workers, old equipment, and the lack of quality management system, the production yield is not high, which further increases production costs and even affects the market competitiveness of products. In addition to the yield problem, Indian factories also face multiple problems such as frequent equipment failures and low production efficiency in production. These problems are not only due to weak external infrastructure and imperfect supply chain, but also closely related to the management level and technical capabilities of the factory. 3. Is Apple's migration plan a complete failure? Although the indefinite suspension of production at the iPhone factory in India has brought many difficulties to Apple's capacity migration plan, it does not mean that Apple's plan has failed. Apple has a wide range of production layouts around the world, and India is only part of its global strategy. Apple is also actively taking countermeasures to solve the problem of suspension of production at Indian factories. For example, by importing more parts and transferring inventory to reduce dependence on Indian production. At the same time, Apple may consider adding new production lines or increasing production shifts in China to ensure the stability of parts supply. From a long-term perspective, Apple is likely to continue to increase investment in India, strive to improve factory production conditions, improve the quality of technical workers, and optimize the supply chain system to achieve stable capacity growth. Dear readers, what do you think of this situation? Welcome to share your insights in the comment section.